Okay, I call the meeting to order. It's a special meeting on Thursday, September 25th at 6 o'clock. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, which I apologize, I did leave that off the agenda. The mayor is unable to be here this evening. Afterwards, I'll do a roll call, and then we'll appoint a mayor pro tem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Okay, roll call. Alderman Arnett.
Here.
Alderman Chun.
Here.
Alderman Danko is absent. Alderwoman Erickson.
Here.
Alderwoman Inman.
Here.
Alderman Ketchum.
Here.
Alderman Kreinbrink is absent. Alderman Robinson.
Here.
Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to appoint a mayor pro tem.
I make that motion. Motion, it's Rich Robinson.
I'll second.
Adam.
Who's second?
Adam.
Adam? Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Karsta, second by Alderman Arnett, Mayor Pro Tem, Alderman Robinson. If you'd like to come up, please. That's right, isn't it?
You have to vote on it. You got to vote.
This evening.
Okay, first thing we have on the agenda is discussion and possible waiving of competitive bidding requirements for lead service line replacement proposals for the Main Street project service area. So with that, I will leave it up for discussion. And if anyone has a motion.
The question I have, Jeff, do you have all the final costs?
Yes, I finally got it at 547. I got a final quote.
Okay.
That's why I'm late. So yes, I did. I can pass that out when you guys are ready to discuss it. Would you like to do that before or after you waive the bids? Because in order to fulfill the time, in order to fulfill the time frame for the lead service lines, we need to waive the bids because we don't have time to do that process, so.
So I guess with that said, if somebody wants to make a motion to waive competitive bidding requirements for lead service line replacement proposals for the Main Street project service area.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Alderman Erickson,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Arnett. Roll call.
Alderman Chun.
Aye.
Alderwoman Erickson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Inman.
Aye.
Alderman Ketchum.
Aye.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
And Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Okay, now that the competitive bidding is waived, now we can discuss and possibly end up with a motion to approve proposals for replacement of lead service lines for residential homes in the Main Street project service area. Open up for discussion.
So what I'm passing out is I compiled all the information from the quotes that we've had over the last several months. We had one from back in February that is the one that we've used for 5 of the services thus far. It was a full quote for a lateral launch directional boring. And the cost on that with the plumbing is $10,233.75. In March, we received a quote from Brandt Excavating out of Morris with our previous water superintendent. He had gotten us a price that was either a long or a short service. A long service means that you had to go across the street, and all of these are short services because they're just running from the city's B box to the home. So the price at that time was $7,100 for the short ones, $75 for the long ones, but there was no repair to landscaping, concrete, or asphalt, and the city was asked on that quote to haul away all the spoils. So when we did follow back up with them in August, once we realized this was a problem, they said it was a minimum of 90 days to start. So it was going to take us into November, which would disrupt some of the project. So that one was not considered at that point in time. 5 Star gave us a text and an email, no formal quote, of $9,500 with no information as to whether it was going to be directional bored or whether it was going to be an open trenching. We disqualified that one for the same reason. They were not responsive. Last council meeting on 9/15, Alderman Arnett provided a quote for $8,400 from Jensen Land Services to do open trenching with no restoration. That was if we could do 5 at a time, and then 1 at a time. We've been back and forth with Jensen over the last week, trying to establish some more information on what was in the quote. There was some question as to whether it was 50 feet. He had limited it to 50 feet, and then there was going to be an additional charge after that. We needed to figure out what that was. As of last night, that was going to be it was going to be significant. So I had Kurt reach out to him today. They went through all the specifications, and that's the quote I just got back. So the quote that just came back was for $10,000 for a directional bore, and that's whether or not it's over 50 feet. We're finding a lot of these are 65 feet or so. So Denise, we can go over this for the minutes, I'm sure. This is going to be awful. So that price is $10,000. And then if we're going to do an open trench, it's $8,400 with the plumber. So those are the 2 prices that we have from Jensen. And then we have one from our contractor that's out for $10,233.75. We found 3 services that we felt could be trenched. There are some unknowns out there because we do need to figure out exactly where some of those services are coming into the building, but Nick and I took a drive this afternoon and looked at them and said, okay, that one we know we can trench, that one we know we need to directionally bore. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We've got 3 that are that way, and then we've got 6 that are unconfirmed at this point. So those could go one way or the other, and I think if it's all right with the council, if they can be trenched, we'll trench them, or I mean, if they can be trenched, we'll trench them, and if not, we'll have to directionally bore them. But, we'd like to be able to move forward and get this done for the residents. We know that the Main Street project has been a considerable headache for everybody because it is moving quickly. There's a lot of dust and dirt, and everybody's been inconvenienced. So the sooner we can get this taken care of, the happier everybody will be.
Jeff, I have a question about the 11 services to be directionally bored.
Yes.
How do we know for sure that they can only be directionally bored?
Well, those are ones that Nick has talked to people, and we've either got we've got one that comes up in the middle of the house. I mean, it was a service that was on one side of the house, and then they added on to it, and the service is still in the center of the house. So that one obviously can't be open, trenched. Some of them have porches that extend out, so you'd have to tear the porch apart if you're going to dig down and get in there. We just don't want to disrupt as much as possible for people. I mean, I suppose you could do it that way, but in the end, by the time all the restoration happens, it's probably going to be cost prohibitive.
And again, just to confirm, this is going from the B box to the house,
To the house, correct. Yeah,
And
a lot of those have big porches on the front.
Sure.
Or what have you, so.
And part of that, and I could be wrong on this, but if any of the B boxes were already in a bad spot, for example, in the sidewalk, they've already been moved if they've been fixed, is that correct?
To my knowledge, I had one brought to my attention today that looks like it's in the sidewalk, so I need to find out some more information on that one. But all of the B boxes have been rerun by the contractor for Main Street.
Okay.
So our side is done on all of them. It's just a matter of connecting them to the individual homes. But it depends on where that water line comes in. We've got a couple that, like we said before, had initially come off of a side street, so now they're coming in off of Main, so those might be a little longer run. So that's the hard part, is they're all, they're kind of all over the place, and in all of these cases, we had to, with our contractors, because nobody's had the time, any of the contractors, to come out and measure each house and do it with time and materials, we had to ask for a lump sum bid, or a lump sum price. So we got the lump sum price, and, you know, some of them are gonna be longer, some of them are gonna be shorter, but the bottom line is we're gonna be able to get them done in the time frame that we're trying to do. We'd like to get these done in the next couple of weeks to stay within our 30-day limit with the IEPA.
Also, I would guess that any of those 11 services that are proposed to be directionally bored, if for some reason it was determined by the contractor that it could be trenched, they would be able to.
Right.
I mean, once contact's made with the owner, once they
Exactly.
know.
And most of these Nick has had contact with, and today, it was a 25-minute ride down Main Street trying to look at them as best we could. So we wanted to get what we could for you guys tonight to make a good decision. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
if there's the opportunity, I don't see any reason not to try and save a few dollars. We did have one that was found to be copper that we had on the list. And that may have been one that, it was a galvanized pipe, but again, you don't know until you get into it. All the others that were galvanized came up with the lead whip. This one actually came up with copper. So we may have estimated in the, to the bad side on that one, but it turns out good for us because that one doesn't need to be done. So we have 20 left, 3 that we feel can be trenched, 11 that needs to be directionally bored, and 6 that are unconfirmed at this point in time, and 1 that was done by a homeowner, which we'll have to reimburse them.
And those 6 are unconfirmed, that's because of the, you said listed on the sheet here, it's the refusal or whatever.
Right, we just haven't been able to
Haven't
make.
made contact.
We haven't been able to make contact with the homeowner to actually get into the house to be able to say, okay, yeah, this one definitely comes in on this side. Because the water meter is inside the house. It's not like your electric meter that's on the outside.
And this might be a dumb question too. Are all of them marked now as far as where the water line is going from, basically from the B box to the house? Are all the residents marked?
No, they're not marked as to where they're going. That's the, if we knew where they were, going, we could make that determination as to whether they for sure could be trenched or if they need to be bored. But usually it's, because a lot of this is coordination, trying to sit down. What we end up doing is once we meet with the homeowner, we talk to them, we line up the contractor, they have to go out and Julie everything. So during that process is when we figure out where the water meter is and the best route for it to go. The contractor works with them on that. They get it run and taken care of.
So we'll know once it's Julie, basically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
So as a city, Janelle and I actually walked Main Street today.
Yep.
Question I have is, as a city where the water goes in, obviously there's a possibility of doing locates, which is Julie. And to find out where the water line is going into a person's home, I would think for us to be able to locate that and follow the line should be relatively simple.
It could be. I know that we've had a terrible time keeping up with our Julieing lately just because we had 70 requests from Frontier. With every one of these digs, we've got to go out and do them individually anyway. And it'd be nice to be able to do them ahead of time, and possibly we could. But in most cases, it's just easier for the contractor to work with the homeowner to be able to say, yes, this is where it is.
And this is nothing against you at all, Jeff. What I'm saying is we have a meeting talking about spending X amount of dollars and trying to save X amount of dollars. So we probably could have had an employee go out and spend 2-3 hours home by home by home and Julie these homes that we're actually speaking about to find out follow line where it goes in. That way we could determine point A to point B, length, direction, location, that type of stuff.
don't disagree with you. I think we've learned a lot through these last several weeks with lead service lines that will prepare us better for in the future. That's probably not a bad idea.
And there's still a possibility we could have an employee go out and locate all these and possibly, because what we're trying to ultimately do is save the residents money through whether it's trenching, boring, one way or the other, because we all know that at a certain point we have to pay for this. So any penny we can try and save through the project is what we're trying to do.
Okay. No, I agree.
Anybody else from the council, thoughts or ideas, or? For discussion purposes, are we wanting to divvy it up, just since we've accepted or waived the competitive bidding, are we just gonna pick and choose for the different locations?
I mean, ultimately, it comes down to, the way I read it, is we've got a trenching cost, we've got a short side boring cost, we've got a long side boring cost. None of these, until we actually do the locates and measure and find out where the lines are, the only thing we can actually approve is the trenching cost for the quoted amount of dollars. The long side borings cost for X amount of dollars, the short side boring cost for X amount of dollars.
The long and short don't matter on this one, Adam. You need to look at that all-in cost, and that's really what we're looking at this point. We've got $8,400 is what Jensen wants to do for the open trench, and then we've got the directional boring, I think we should split between our existing contractor and Jensen. It's a difference of $233.75, and we've already got a contractor that's working.
And I'm totally fine with that. What I'm talking about is the actual assigning of the addresses of which way we're gonna do things.
Okay, well, I really believe that with all due respect, staff, I need Nick and I need the engineer to be able to figure that out. I mean, because
I would have to agree.
if we're gonna sit here tonight and try and divvy up which houses are going
No,
where.
we can't possibly do that because none of the houses have been located.
Right. I think if you could just, my recommendation is that we've got 20 services remaining. We do 10 and 10. Whatever ones we can get Jensen to do that are trenched, we'll have them do those. The remaining ones they can bore, and then the other 10 we'll do with our existing contractor.
And I'm fine with that as long as we do our due diligence on measuring and locating. Because we're talking about a, $2,400 savings if we can trench it versus boring it. And I mean, if we're talking 10, it's a $24,000 savings to our residents. And that's all we're trying to do here. And I know you're trying, Jeff, we're all trying, and we have to try for them is what we're doing.
The 11 services that are supposed to be directionally bored, do we know where all those services are located?
Yes, that's why we're making that assumption, is that we have a pretty good idea where those are. Or you can obviously see that, we know we've got one that goes right underneath, it goes right underneath the front stairs, which are concrete. You're gonna have to tear the whole stairs out. That doesn't make sense, so.
No, none of us are after that. Janelle and I walked the entire
no, I
street today.
agree.
We spent an hour and a half going home to home to home.
Yep.
And there are some homes, obviously, you don't want to tear anybody's home up.
Nope.
That is not our intention at all. And there's some homes out there, look at Doug Yingling's. Are we gonna take a backhoe and rip through it? You can't possibly do that.
Right.
But we have some homes that are grass yards that we could save $2,400, and if those grass yards add up to X amount of dollars, the seed blanket and the restoration and stuff like that, I'm sure homeowners are happy to get a water line at a zero cost. And then in the spring, when everything settles, seed and blanket and the yard grows back. Wouldn't we all agree?
And I was just gonna comment, I did speak to a few residents, and some not even involved, but just in general, what do you think, if you were getting this? And they're like, well, I would want my yard restored back to the original thing. And I said, okay. I said, but what if it was restored back 100%, but you had to pay half of the water? Well, it would be okay if they restored it the best they could, and I would do additional stuff to do it, because
I
like,
get it.
like I said, once they realize you're getting a $10,000 value, we've already decided that, and, you know, for right now, it's just Main Street, but obviously we've had comments and stuff about what we plan on doing with the rest of the community, doing the same thing, and, you know, that will be decided later on, but like I said, we're talking about Main Street and just to decide, so, if somebody wants to make a proposal, you know, for the replacement, whether it's, you know, splitting it with the 20 that are left.
I ran the numbers, just if you guys are interested. I mean, with the 3 that we felt like could be trenched, plus the one that was done by a homeowner that was trenched, that's about a $7,137 savings for those 3 to be trenched. If all of the ones that are unknown were trenched instead of directionally bored, we're looking at about $16,700. So that's the difference that we're talking about is, you know, between a $16,000 savings and a $7,000 savings. So we're hoping we would come somewhere in between there based on, you know, where we're able to make those work.
And I think we'd all agree a savings is a savings, so it's less tax dollars we have to spend.
And obviously I understand, I got here a little bit late, but perhaps I can just make sure I understand. Obviously, the main idea is to save as much money as possible, so perhaps there could be a more generic motion made that the Public Works employees or the individuals can make the determination going for the excavation if possible, and then if not possible, going for the directional boring in any manner in which you can save the most money for the city. And I can word that better, but is that kind of what you guys are thinking? Or are you wanting to award so many to each one?
The thing is, it's not possible to really award so many to each one at this point because locates aren't done, so you don't know if this one can be open trenched. Janelle and I walked several today, and you don't know if they can be open trenched. Janelle took several pictures, and it's just grass from
And-
where the bee box to the home. But until a locate is done and you know where that water line goes into the home, we can't say we're giving this one to this guy and this one to this
Okay.
guy. Until our due diligence is done and you know where the water line goes in, you can't assign certain ones to a certain
Well, and-
contractor.
And also, one can only do one a day and another one can do a couple a day.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess instead of coming back here for, you know, all 20, I mean, if there's a way, I would just want to make sure that I'm understanding all of your goals, right? Done efficiently, as close to within the timeframes as possible, and in the most cost-effective manner. So that does maybe leave a little bit of subjectivity out there, but I suppose the general idea is we want to do it as cheap as possible. So if one of those ones is, we found out it can be excavated, right? And that guy is available, that's who we want to do it, right?
We never want to do it cheap, just cost effective.
Okay, yes, I know, but you understand what I'm saying. We have,
Yeah.
we have the one quote where it is lower. And if
But that guy has to have 5 at a time, right? Otherwise, he ain't gonna touch it for that.
No, what he wanted,
Otherwise, he's gonna jump it up to that 9,500 from
right,
one
I
at a
understand as
time.
far as his trenching,
Yeah,
he needs 5 total, not 5 for a day. Call him, and he will bring his crews in and dig that 5.
okay.
It's all about, everybody here knows when you bring machines to
Oh,
a
yeah,
site, it
oh, yeah.
costs you
I'm
money.
just trying to make sure exactly what he's wanting, like if he wanted 5 a day or if he wanted 5 at a time.
He wants 5 at a time to be able to bring machines.
Okay, that makes more sense than just 5,
Employees.
you know? They need to be
Because it costs you
specified.
more money to bring machines for one,
Oh, for sure. I agree.
so.
No, I just, clarification on how he wanted it, you know?
Right.
That's all.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I was just gonna mention too, as far as the restoration, with a lot of this not being done until springtime, obviously, you know, we're talking about probably a distance of about 8 blocks on both sides of the street. So whether it's, you know, landscape crew or whoever's doing the restoration, depending on, you know, how many people are in the crew or whatever, in the equipment, I would assume that it's possible to get them all done within like a day or two, because it's not gonna be much. I mean, the distance, and you're talking the, you know, the swath or the path, probably not more than 3 or 4 feet, I would guess, wide, and then whatever the distance is from the parkway or wherever the B-box is to the house, so.
The big part is it needs to settle for a while if it's an open cut like that, that's all.
And with them all being done within the next couple of weeks, they're gonna sit all winter long and then be done in the springtime, so.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I mean, no disrespect, but even if it's directionally bored, there is excavation that still needs to, 3 to 4 months, it has to settle as well.
It does. It's usually a 5 by 5 square.
But it's still
needs to be
excavation that
done.
needs to
Yep.
settle.
And at this point, after we went through all the quotes, they both include restoration, so they're gonna take care of it. It'll be next spring for the open cut stuff and then also for the directional
I
board.
just don't want homeowners to think if it's directional board, they're gonna walk out tomorrow and everything is clean.
Everything's not gonna be perfect.
Setting
right.
expectations is where we need to be at.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a financial question as treasurer?
I don't see why not. If it has to do with the replacement of the lead service lines
Absolutely,
and what we're accepting.
absolutely. Total cost, restoration included for CJ Johnson trenching is $10,200, no matter how big it is in size, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How many of them are greater than this 50 feet?
Well, that, Jensen's price now matches that. It's $10,000 is what they came in
Well-
at, is 10,000, whether it's 65 feet or whatever. We were able to
So-
work that out, and that's what took so long today, so.
Okay, so that, well, that's what I'm trying to clarify and understand. So irregardless, we get restoration, boring, trenching, over 50 feet, all the houses for $10,000. He can do 5 a day. The other one, we don't know. There's been no mention of how many he can get done a day. Time is money, and he's at 10,233. At 20 houses, we save $233.75 per house. That's still a savings. The max is $10,000 from Jensen. That's what it's coming to, correct? Is that the way I'm understanding the,
I mean, I think that they can dig 5 in a day, maybe, but I don't think they can replace 5 in a day, right?
So as I understand it, in his trenching, he can trench up to 5 a day.
Okay,
As directional boring, he can directional bore 2 to 3 a day.
okay. But,
doing the complete job?
yeah, is that that's the whole job? You're saying
whole
he can
job.
do
Up and
5 in
everything?
one day?
He can dig up, he can trench up to 5 a day. You might have a day where he trenches 2, a day he trenches 3, a day he trenches 5.
But he just wants us to commit to 5, like,
5
Yes.
total.
at a time.
5 at a time to bring all the equipment, the people,
But no matter
everything in
what
to do the
he
job.
does, it's $10,000. If
No,
it's-
at trenching
if
is
it's boring.
$8,400.
That's what I'm saying, if
bored,
it's the
it's
boring.
$10,000. And he
So we
feels
could
he
say-
can trench 2 to, or he can bore 2 to 3 a day.
So we could save almost 2,000 on the trenching, correct?
That's for the ones that can be trenched, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. On the trenching, it's like, well, you want to get me
But there's
specific.
also a goal in getting this done, so you might have to use somebody,
Faster.
yeah, to use somebody else.
Because
and-
we
and-
only have a couple weeks to get
Yeah.
We walked with Jeff and the engineer and everybody. It's gonna take multiple contractors to do this.
Well, the way I'm trying to understand is no matter what we do, no matter how we do it, if we went with Jensen, he's gonna save us at a minimum $233 per job, possibly $1,400 to $1,800 per job. And he's gonna come back in the spring and restore just like C. Johnson is.
Right.
Okay.
So in our meeting yesterday, what happened is Main Street's gonna be done earlier than hopefully
We're hoping
proposed.
earlier than thought, yeah.
And we need to get every service line on Main Street we possibly have done in X amount of time. And when we do it, we have to work around the current contractor that's working, NICOR, stuff like that. So there is going to be a point to where we need a couple contractors doing this, one on this end, one on this end.
And we might not
Just so
get-
we can
yeah.
work around the people that are working there.
Oh, I get that.
And I don't think there's any way of getting around using C.J. Johnson for some of them. I ultimately think it comes down to, first we need to know where the water line is and where it goes into the home. That's the determination that we have to begin with.
Well, and there's also gonna be, need to be a little bit of coordination with the homeowners too.
Without a doubt.
Right, so I mean, there's just so many different parts and parcels here that while it'd be great to say, you know, Jensen's come on in and they're gonna do 5 in 5 days, and then they're gonna have, you know, 5 a day in 5 days, they're gonna have them all done in a week, that's not gonna be realistic with the main contractor for Main Street. That's not necessarily gonna be realistic for each of the individual homeowners and their schedules. And, you know, it's not gonna be realistic to get NICOR out there and all those things. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the problem here with trying to word a motion, is that we kind of have to look at this on a case-by-case basis, depending on, and who knows, maybe they get another job and they wanna do that on that day, and he's not available the day the contractor for Main Street wants him available. So,
Well, if I remember correctly, this won't affect the contractor from Main Street at all, correct?
Oh, it very well could.
Wow.
We've got 11 contractors out there any given day, so, I mean, that's what was going on the other day. There's all kinds of people going every which direction. So, you know, there's days that it's an IDOT project. If the IDOT contractor tells somebody, no, they can't be in that space, they can't be in that space. Otherwise, we're in chance of being in violation of our IDOT contract. So we don't want to fall into that role either. So that's where we've been very good with our contractor that's already out there. Johnson's already done 5 of them. So, you know, they've been very good at working with the existing contractor, not to say that Jensen won't be able to do the same. But as I said before, my recommendation is that,
Bless you.
that we do 10 each. And then if the ones that can be trenched by Jensen, if they can do more than 3, that's the directive. Do them, as many of them that they can of those unknowns. And then if they can't, then the directional bore them. And we've got 20 to go. We can line them up that way and get them scheduled. And just do it as cost effectively as we possibly can.
So I guess it'd be up to the council to make a motion. I had wrote some stuff down here just while I was sitting listening. And like I said, if we want to do it or word it so it's, you know, the 10 and 10 with the 20 remaining, but I had something to the effect of motion to approve proposal for replacement of lead service lines for residential homes in the Main Street project service area at the most cost-effective / timely manner by using open trench if possible and directionally bored if not. Is that something that's close?
Sounds good to me.
and then that's, the only question I have is that with regard to both contractors?
Well, I don't believe Johnson would open, does he, or would he?
He doesn't, he had given us a price early on to do open cut, and he just feels like it's bad for his reputation, the way it
Okay.
looks. He didn't want to do that type
Okay.
of work. He wanted it to come out and look nice, wanted to be able to provide a service at a level that is normal for him. So I don't think, I asked that question today, and I was told he doesn't really want to do it that way.
Okay.
And that's why I suggested the 10 and 10. If the, if we give the ones that are unknown to Jensen, if he can open cut them, go for it. If he can't, then I'll have to directionally bore them.
What's the council's thought or opinion on that? Because I'd like
To be
some,
honest with you, saving our residents money is what we need to be looking out. Somebody's reputation isn't what I'm worried about. And the problem we have ultimately is we were all given, and C.J. Johnson wasn't given initially the correct parameters to give an open trench bid. And we talked about this months and months and months ago. We had a previous water superintendent that gave him parameters for a bid. I pointed out when that bid was brought to us at $6,900 that the line that was in there was plastic. Our ordinance specifically states it has to be type K copper. Any IEPA loan we hope to go for through the 30-year loan at 0%, in that loan it also states it has to be type K copper. So I don't think C.J. Johnson was given a fair opportunity initially to bid the open cut because he was given the wrong information.
just a thought, but I wanted to ask the council. After discussion and after we approve something, we had audience comments next. And I'm just curious, if we paused for a second from the discussion, if I switch to audience comments just to see if there's anybody that might be living on Main Street or in the area, or even a resident that just wanted to make a comment about this prior to.
No problem.
Anybody opposed to that?
No.
No.
Okay, so like I said, a little unorthodox, but gonna switch gears just for a second. Pause the discussion and open it up for audience comments. I know there's been no sheets filled out yet, but is there anybody from the audience that would like to make a comment about the discussion we're having? Okay, thank you, appreciate it. All right, no audience comments, gonna go back to the discussion and possible approval of a proposal for the replacement. So I think people like the idea about the cost-effective and timely manner. I guess the biggest thing would be whether you want to do it with a 10-10 split, or do you want to just go ahead and do it where if it can be open cut, it's going to be open cut, and then if it's got to be directionally bored, then obviously, those ones would go to the other contractor, if that would make sense. I mean, because we know there's 3 for sure that can be trenched. 11 we're unsure of, and then 11 we're expecting that it's going to be directionally bored only, and then 6 that are unconfirmed. But once they're actually located, we should know 100% for the ones that are unconfirmed and the ones that we believe to be directionally bored also. I'd agree with Jeff as far as the ones where the service comes up in the middle of the house, the ones where there's the porch and the concrete steps and things like that, because then we're not cost savings at all, because there's gonna be additional expenses, et cetera, for the restoration. So again, just discussion amongst yourselves, and if we can come to some sort of an agreement or consensus.
So Adam, are you trying to wait until we know where everything is at? Is that what you're trying to get at?
What I said earlier was, we're not sitting here to assign addresses. What we're sitting here to do is decide on cost.
I understand that, but you're saying you want everything located like ASAP so we can decide on who's getting what, to have that cost
It's not
effectiveness.
no, it's not at all what I said. Yeah, I mean, you can do that if you want. I mean, you and I can go back and forth. What I said is we have $8,400 for trenching.
Right.
At no point have we done locates to even see if the homes fit in the parameters of trenching. Janella actually physically walked the road, and there were several that were just grass. So some of these here, we actually walked and took pictures of, and if we actually did our job and went and physically located, that water line might come down and right in the side of the home,
Right.
as to where we could save homeowners a couple $1,000s.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You want everything located so we know exactly where it's at, if it can be trenched or not, correct?
Trenched or not assigned per
Contractor.
contractor. I wanna
Right, that's
know
what I'm saying.
trenching.
You want to know exactly what can be trenched, that way we can save the money.
Correct.
So it has to be located first. Correct?
Yes. Said it all along. Yes,
So we
we
have
need
to
to
do that.
locate these.
Before we can even do anything here. to
We
do
should have
the
done our
cost
homework to
effectiveness,
begin with.
Correct?
Homework should have been done to begin with.
We know, everything got screwed up. Everything did. Just like here, Latham Street all over again. Nothing changes. But what I'm saying is, it has to be, we'd have to know what needs to be trenched.
Without a doubt, we need to locate
So how can
these.
we say something tonight to make that work?
Because we're not assigning addresses, we're assigning
No, that's what I'm
costs.
saying.
I would,
Attorney,
Yeah, okay.
I need a motion put together of what can absolutely be trenched. We're gonna trench to save the money.
I think that what Rich has is pretty close. I think the only thing I would probably add is that regardless of the contractor, that either contractor can be used.
that either contractor can be used because you never know, that first contractor that prefers to just directionally bore,
Exactly.
let's say that everything can be trenched except for 4 that have to be directionally bored. He might look at it and be like, well, I can still get half of them if I
Right.
open trench 6 and I directionally bore the other 4.
Well, and then it sounds like you said there's 11 that have to be directionally bored.
That we believe, but
Right.
they haven't been marked yet, so
Okay.
there is I would guess there is a slight possibility.
With those, I mean, Nick has had contact with those people. He wasn't guessing. In his professional opinion, those need to be directionally bored.
Those 11.
Yes.
Okay.
One
So
of 'em-
then there's 3 for sure that can be
Trenched.
trenched. So
and
we're
then
at
there's 6
14.
unconfirmed,
And then there's 6 that we're not sure of. So,
so 20 total.
yeah, I mean, so I think,
Well, one of the ones that, the 11, we couldn't even find the box for it. We searched for quite a while and we had no clue where the box was.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
So there is a chance that
I'm just saying
maybe some of
that-
these 11 can be trenched,
Okay.
I would think.
I mean, I think, you know,
We're,
based
at
on,
some point, we have to let the
Rich.
staff try to figure out the best way to do this.
I get that, and I guess my only question would be is that I know Nick's streets, and that's where the water is coming from, is the street.
Yes.
But then the rest of it's in the yard, so I don't know if a water person would know better how it goes or what. I don't understand that stuff at all.
I don't know, but I've learned a lot in the last several weeks.
Oh, I
and-
bet.
And Nick has learned a lot in the last several months. I mean, the last 2 months has been a lot of this. Nick has taken a lot of this on.
For the
trying
water
to-
department,
For the water
absolutely.
department, trying to coordinate this with our contractor to make sure that we're getting things done on the project and just keep things rolling. So right, I understand where everybody's coming from, that, yeah, we'd like to be able to trench all of these, but at the same time,
I do have one question, again, kind of naive with how this works, but are some of these going to have to be, are they going to impact the sidewalks on any of the
Well,
properties?
that's what we're trying to avoid, is that.
And so,
right,
so
is-
if, I think this is maybe good for discussion, I don't know what the cost necessarily is to replace the sidewalk.
I don't know why you would have to replace it. Means and methods, you can go under sidewalks, doing water lines all the time.
Wouldn't that be part of like the directional boring then?
It
No,
would,
actually, you
or
can
you could
open-
also drive a pipe and then be able to open cut it if you wanted to do it. There's ways to do it.
Okay.
Right?
Yep, I'm just asking that, you
Right.
know,
And
that
that's what
might
we
be
were trying
part
to
of the
avoid
idea.
getting this done earlier, is just because we were trying to get all these, we wanted to get these lead service lines in before the sidewalks went in. But unfortunately, the way the project's marching along, they're getting those sidewalks in as fast as they can. That's why we gotta get as much in as we possibly can and just make it
Okay.
as efficient as possible.
Okay, so we've got discussion and approval of proposals for the replacement of lead service lines for residential homes. And so there's a motion, I'm gonna talk it out loud a little bit here. Okay, so motion to proceed with the replacement of the lead service lines for residential homes in the Main Street project service area on the residential line at the most cost-effective, timely manner by using open trench if possible and directionally bored if necessary at a cost not to exceed $10,200.
It would be the,
$10,233.75.
which would be the max of any of the bids, correct?
Correct.
And I'm willing to tweak it and things like that. Does that make sense? Does that answer questions, get us to where we're at?
I think so.
So, again, there may be some subjectivity that the staff is going to have to use, okay? With the time-effective, cost-effective manner.
You're already saying lead service lines for residential homes. Where these there, they're unfortunately
Okay,
lines.
yeah, that's fair, okay. At the most cost-effective time, by using open necessary.
And across the next 10,000.
I don't know, does anyone have any comments, questions? Rich and I were just writing it down, making sure we
So,
got it.
No, but I'll make that motion for what you said.
you want me to repeat it just so? Okay.
Sure.
So it'd be a motion to approve replacement of lead service lines for residential homes in the Main Street project service area at the most cost-effective, timely manner by using open trench if possible and directionally bored if necessary at a cost not to exceed $10,233.75
Per line.
per line. Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Alderman Chun, second by Alderman Inman. Any discussion?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Erickson,
Aye.
Alderwoman Inman,
Aye.
Alderman Ketchum,
Aye.
Alderman Robinson,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Abstain,
On
Alderman
what
Chun.
basis?
abstain.
What's the basis?
The basis is because I have been the one, I brought the bid for Jensen in, and I've been the one sitting here talking about Jensen's bid, and I'm not gonna get cross-started with it.
Okay.
Okay, you got
Did you do
5 ayes
Sean?
Nope,
and 1 abstain.
I didn't vote yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alderman Chun,
Aye.
I put you down for aye. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So it was 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 with 1 abstention, and usually abstention goes with the
With the
majority anyway.
Yep,
So, okay.
motion carries.
So the motion carries. And all we have after that is a motion to adjourn, which I'll make.
Second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Chun. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night.
I saw him.
You were back there when I asked if there was audience comments.
Oh, that's the only thing. No, that's the only thing that
we're
could be
talking about
discussed
tonight
today.
Is just, Main Street only. Yeah.
Well, no, we can't have a meeting anymore, so.
Yeah, you can talk
We're done.
individually.
Hi, Lloyd. Hi, how's your hand doing? It's bothering me still. The stitches are hurting. Would you have? I didn't get to it. I was waiting on it all day, so I got it.
Call tomorrow.
I will.
Because like I said tonight, I'm not trying to,
I know, but this is.
but we literally walked all these homes and took pictures from where the bee box is,